What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Zelly, powered by FTN Bets, presented by PointsBet Canada, right here on Game Plus Network. Also, live on our FTN Network YouTube page. The NHL is back. So, Eric Young, myself, Chris Meaney, back with you guys as well. 12 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. The Sabres and the Blue Jackets postponed. So, we are down to one game. But, of course, we have a lot of action to get to. The World Juniors got underway yesterday as well. Eric Young in the house, outside of a house, looking like you are living the dream. The birds are chirping. The sun is shining. Happy holidays to you and to everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a good little holiday break. And tell me, where are you here this morning? This is fantastic.
This is a on location Dangle Bet Zelly in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Pretty traditional sports and hockey market down here. And I'm the only person with a hockey jersey on in probably 150 miles. But the weather is beautiful. We made it. There's a whole bunch of madness I shared with you, trying to get down here, a twilight drive through the night to Atlanta to take a different flight, and all kinds of madness. And the airports are exactly what you think they would be. But the sun is shining. I'm wearing a tank top. It's 6 degrees in Nashville.
Oh, yes.
And I got the Dos Equis.
Oh,
no free money. No free sponsorships, Dos Equis.
EY is living the dream. I'm glad you made it there safe and sound, because travel is just absolutely bonkers all the time, and especially at this time of the season. So hopefully you make it back all the same as well. Love it. I love seeing you there with the sun shining and a drinky in your hand. Adam Renkamp's in the house. I want to say what up to the crew. Let's go Mikko Rantanen Day. He loves playing Arizona. And we have the diehard MMA podcast in the house, who is a fan of Arizona, says, thank goodness. Thank God the NHL is back. Morning, boys. Rantanen, and it took me a little bit to realize what he was doing. The other day, I saw his shot prop at 3.5 plus money. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take that. And he had 12 shots, 13 shots in the game. I don't know if we'll get to the Avs in a little bit, but Mikko Rantanen has at least 8 shots on goal. 8 shots on goal, guys, in 3 straight games.
It's crazy.
4 of his last 5. Yeah, he's got 41 shots in his last 5 games. 13, 8, 10. An off game against your Preds where he had 2, and then he had 8 against the Sabres. It absolutely is crazy. They showed a stat the other day when I was watching that game. He has the largest percentage of his team's goals. I think the top 5 were... He was number 1. Cole Caulfield was inside the top 5 as well. And then, of course, Tage Thompson was there as well. But my goodness, what Mikko Rantanen is doing until his boys come back, is pretty remarkable to see. How do you get 13 shots in one game?
It's a Herculean effort, right? Like, I mean, it's no secret that all those guys go down, and it's going to fall on the shoulders of Rantanen. He carries a large part of the offense to begin with, along with Landeskog, who hasn't played a game all season, and McKinnon. Like, those are the engines that make this team go. And 2 of the 3 are gone. And Rantanen's like, all right, boys, hop on my back. I mean, we've been talking about this guy for years. He is a special player. I think, unfortunately, is overshadowed playing with Landeskog, playing with McKinnon, and playing with Makar. These guys are superstars. And Rantanen's play and his abilities, and I think because of the injury, the Stanley Cup year, I know he played in the Stanley Cup, but most of the season he was hurt. Weird freak twisting of his knee in a rut, like it was just skating, and he went down and ended up having a quite long injury. But man, this dude is such an awesome player. Kind of reminds me of Forsberg, where he can like really protect the puck. He's got that big body, huge wingspan, can shoot, good passing, like plays the whole ice. Colorado is, thank their lucky stars, they got somebody like Mikko Rantanen that is obviously the ability to take this team on his back, and is doing it every single night. He's scored in almost every single game since those guys have been gone.
I know, he's been unbelievable. I mean, his shot props at 3.5 minus 143. I wish if there was some 4.5s, I would take it. I mean, there's certain guys that we take in the NHL for 4.5s, like Ovechkin's at 4.5 right now. We know we love Pasternak 4.5. We've been down the Tage Thompson, Jason Robertson 4.5s, but as long as Nathan McKinnon is out of the lineup, he's just kind of overtaken all the shots. And him and Cale Makar. Makar's doing the exact same thing as well. The only way to bet Mikko tonight is alternate shot prop at 4.5. Adam checks in at plus money. I put him in a prop. I put him in a parlay last night with like Jason Robertson, Cale Makar, Rupe Hintz. It's a same game thing. Just like those 4 are all pretty juiced, but I like their spots as well. There's a lot to get into, and we're going to get into it in just a second. I do want to say a couple things off the top. FTNbets.com/free, FTNdaily.com/free. We're still doing 3-day trials on both of our websites for free. If you're a DFS player, you want to sprinkle in a little DFS, we got daily articles. We have Discord channel. So, of course, NFL, NBA are happening. You can take a look at our optimizers, projections, and tools. But we have an NHL article every single day. We have cheat sheets, exposures, telling you guys the stacks we're playing, the players we're playing, and the exposure, the amount, we'll be playing them percentage-wise. 30%, say we're playing 10 lineups. We have Nico Rantanen at 30%. Means we're playing them in 3 of 10 and things like that. And also the FTNbets.com/free, as you saw. All picks across all sports, projections, tools. It is all there. We're starting to hit a bit of a groove in the NHL, especially on the sides, and some totals. Totals have been really good to us as well. And then we have the article over at FTNfantasy.com. If you use the promo code Meaney, save yourself 20%. You're going to get the article and rankings the rest of the way here in the second half of the season. We are into week 12. I think playoffs get underway around week 22. So we got a good 10 weeks here, 8 to 10 weeks of a nice stretch run to get yourself into the playoffs. Went through the rankings, updated them all yesterday, went pretty deep at every position, defensemen and goalies as well. Link inside the description of this video. So with that out of the way, let's get underway. I do want to say what up to everybody else here before we get going. Our guy Troy's in the house as well, asking what players from the World Juniors yesterday impressed us. I love it. I love how much of a psycho you are. I watched all the games, not all of them closely. I was writing some articles, doing some things, but I watched Team USA closely, Canada closely as well. And then, it was hard to watch Sweden because they won 11-0. Very, very powerful. I think I'm going to the New Year's Eve game between Canada and Sweden. It's in Halifax. I got to go, man. It looked nice. Like a bumping crowd last night. Tough loss for Canada. Connor Bedard is as advertised. He looked special. Shane Wright had the opening goal. I thought just the emotions playing on your home turf, in Canada, fans. Yeah. It seemed like there was a lot of emotions for the kids. They tried to do a couple of fans, they tried the Michigan twice in the first period. It just seemed like they were, it didn't seem like an all business game for them, but credit to Czechia. They played really good. Their sound, they had double-digit returnees. Their goaltending is really good, but I know you didn't catch a lot of it, EY, but Canada's lived in the box. I would expect to see a different Canadian team when they play tomorrow against Germany.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before we started the show. This is the first time in well over a decade where I'm going to miss the tournament, right? I'm going to be in Mexico. I think most streaming companies are onto the VPNs. I can't get anything to work, and they're obviously not playing the games here at Casa Velas, the resort I'm staying at. Yeah, I'm going to miss it. And it kind of dawned on me yesterday that the game started yesterday, and it kind of made me sad, man. I mean, I've literally watched every minute of every game of this tournament for at least a decade, and I'm not going to be able to watch probably any of it. I'm going to look around and work on some stuff today, see if maybe I can watch some of it. But, I got a pretty busy schedule of laying in the sun, drinking, and eating while I'm here, so I don't know if that's going to be priority.
Not going to be tuning in live to Canada, Germany. No, not going to be tuning in. Not going to have it on the big screen anyways.
I made it here. I woke up in time to make it here. I am like a complete lunatic going to go work out as soon as we're done here. But as far as watching World Junior games, I don't know. I'm going to try my best. Maybe I can get it to stream it on my iPad down at poolside. If I do get it to work, there will be pictures and you guys will be updated.
We'll keep you updated on the show, and Troy's all over it as well. He'll keep you updated, but stay out of the box, Team Canada. You can't be taking penalties nonstop and expect to win in this tournament. Emmerich asking if he can sign up even though he's in Europe. I do believe the 3-day trials, I think, is what you're asking. Check it out. FTNbets.com, FTNdaily.com. Make an account. You can make an account for free, just your email and a username. And then once you're in, you should be good to go. So let me know if you have any questions, either here in the comment section after this video is finished, after our episode, or on Twitter at Chris Meaney, or also meanstreetsftn@gmail.com. You can reach out to me there as well. And we'll get you set up there, Emmerich. And if it is the Fantasy Hockey Waiver Wire article you're looking at, you can certainly get signed up there as well. Just a couple teams playing 4 games. attack the schedule on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and you can do so with the Kraken have a really nice schedule, as do the New Jersey Devils. So let's get underway. John in the house just in time. Rich Pasta. Let's try to eat like kings today. We're not going to start with the Bruins. We're going to start with a pretty lopsided affair, though. The Carolina Hurricanes at minus 400, and the best possible odds you can get over at Bet Rivers, I'm seeing minus 450 in some spots. The Blackhawks in town at plus 350 over at DraftKings if you do want to back the Blackhawks. I did write up the Chicago Blackhawks just a little bit. Their top line, Patrick Kane showed up with 3 points in the last game. He's having a down season. And then we also have Max Domi on his line, who's having like a really good season. And Tyler Johnson's also on that line, just returned the lineup the other day. He's picked up a couple of points since he's been back. It's a cheap DFS stack, but it's probably not needed tonight because Kochetkov just continues to light the world on fire. So this is a tough game to really back a dog here. Aho's back in the lineup. I think he can probably get involved with like a Teuvo Teravainen point, maybe an Aho goal, and our guys Svechnikov and Necas they're pretty good candidates to find the back of the net tonight, I'd say.
Yeah, I've got Necas to score, and Jordan Stahl has been.
Yeah.
I don't. It was in my head. I was like, are my eyes deceiving me? Like he just kind of like every time I would watch Carolina, like it just seems like he was all over the ice. He had the puck on his stick. He's driving the net. Just he's a really solid player. He's still like a beast, and is playing a lot of minutes for them. And I looked, and he's got a couple goals. He's got 3 assists in the last 6 or 7 days. So that's a guy that he's feeling it right now, and he's a guy that can put up points when he gets rolling like that. And so I like him at 3 plus 320. And on the other side, I got Kane, like you said, at 265. And Andre Athanasiou is dude. Like there's no mistaking this guy when he's on the ice. I mean, the guy can just rip. He's such a fast skater, and he seems to be feeling it now. Anytime I've watched any Chicago, he's kind of been a guy that's kind of jumped off the screen for me, and he's at plus 370. So I like those two guys on the Chicago side, but I don't think I would bet on Chicago to score because Kochetkov has been unreal.
I mean, the Hurricanes they've won 8 straight. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They're atop the Metro now all of a sudden, right? And they have a 4-point cushion on the Devils. So I feel like a month ago we were wondering, like, this Hurricanes team, they're good. They get good goaltending. They don't score a lot. Maybe when they get Pacioretty back in the lineup, they'll hit their stride. But they've hit it. Like, they have the second most points in the NHL with 50 points, 34 games. 22, 6-6, just phenomenal stuff. Kochetkov is, we've talked about him maybe getting involved. I don't know what his odds are anymore to win the Calder. You probably can't get him too long anymore, like 6-1, I think, the last time we chatted about him. I like the goal scorers for me are Svechnikov and Necas. I know I'm not really breaking a lot of news with those two guys, but those are the shooters on the squad. Those are the guys I like the most. And Necas, you're getting at plus money. Use our prop shop to get the best possible odds. If I am looking for a long shot, it would be Paul Stastny. You see that Kotkaniemi is starting to get going again, but he's on the fourth line. When Aho returned, they put Aho back with Teravainen and Seth Jarvis, and then they have Svechnikov, Necas with Paul Stastny. So Paul Stastny for an anytime goal tonight is plus 360 over at FanDuel. So if you're looking for a bit of a long shot, why not? He's playing with 2 studs. I would love to be able to find an assist or a point prop for Paul Stastny, but I'm not finding one right now. Maybe consider him in DFS. I think we can move on, but there is one thing I wanted to chat to you about because you play season-long leagues. We both do. We play them together, and just kind of filtering through and trying to find some buy low candidates in fantasy hockey. It's tough. Like there are certain guys that come to mind, like 3 high-profile players, and none of them are playing really good, and I don't feel like any of them are going to return value for you drafted them. One is Johnny Gaudreau. The other one is Jonathan Huberdeau, who's kind of turning around a little bit, but we talked so much about him. He's not going to get the same type of ice time. It's just not the same team with the same minutes that he had in Florida. And then Patrick Kane, who's on the final year of his deal. He's 34. Jonathan Toews, final year of his deal. He's 34. Patrick Kane, would you view him as a good buy? Would you take the risk if you were up near the top of your fantasy hockey standings? Would you take the risk in acquiring Patrick Kane and only assuming that this guy would get flipped at the deadline? Loaded question here. Do you think he gets flipped at the deadline? And which team would just be put over the top if they did acquire a guy like Patrick Kane, who's a future Hall of Famer, a 3-time Cup winner, man? This guy's a stud.
Yeah, I mean, I think a buy low candidate, you're on the right path there. Obviously, not performing up to Patrick Kane standards or what we're used to seeing him do. And I mean, Chicago is just not a good team, right? Like he doesn't have superstar line mates. He's playing with, Max Domi and Athanasiou, like you're saying, Tyler Johnson coming back. He's playing with him. uh, out of pure love for watching awesome hockey, him and Panarin together in New York would be unbelievable. I think it's a move that could put New York really over the top and put them right in the middle of the Stanley Cup conversation. They're in that conversation for me. They've been in that conversation all year. They're going to have to really buckle up the bootstraps and get doing some work here and start piling up some wins. But it does seem like that is happening. Patrick Kane, like what we know is this guy is a superstar of superstars, right? Like he's a point producing machine, not a goal scorer per se, but assists and points and power play points. And he hasn't been doing that. So you could probably buy him low. The question is do those numbers increase if he stays in Chicago? My bet is no. We've seen enough this year that this is kind of who he's going to be with this team, with these other players, and with this team in general. And for him, like he has all the power. Like he has a no trade. If he doesn't want to play somewhere else and wants to play his whole career in Chicago, which is a thing that happens, in the NHL. Like some guys are willing to move and uproot their life and move to another city and chase the cup. I think my point to you when we were talking about this before we went was he's already done everything, right? Like there's really nothing left for him to accomplish. And it just depends on the kind of person is he a psycho competitor where he wants to win another cup? He needs that in his life. Then maybe he waives the no trade and he goes somewhere. Or is he a guy that's just happy being a mega celebrity in a town that he's lived most of his adult life and retire a Chicago Blackhawk and be considered one of the greatest American players to ever play the game? So I don't know, man. I don't. You don't hear any rumblings about him wanting out, or he's saying all the right things and doing all the right things. But that doesn't mean behind the scenes he's not telling his agent, like, if they want to trade me, let's do this. So who knows, man? I think you could buy low on him. I don't think it's a bad idea.
The one thing I'll say, yeah, it probably won't cost you a whole lot. I think you said it perfectly. If he sticks with the Hawks, I mean, what you see is probably what you're going to get. Yep. But I will say he is, this is a 2-time 40-goal scorer, and he's hit the century mark twice in his career. I mean, he had 90-some-odd points last year. I mean, he's just 1 year removed from a 90-plus point season, right? And it's not like he was playing with superstars last year. He played with, Brandon Hagel and Kirby Dach. He played with better players for sure. And there's nothing against Max Domi and Tyler Johnson, but he is shooting a career low 4%. So there is some maybe positive regression coming his way. And if he does land on a team where, my goodness, he's inside the top 6 with the Rangers, he's playing with his old teammate Artemi Panarin, or he's inside the top 6 with the Devils. I mean, the Devils and the Rangers both have young kids and prospects. They have the pieces to acquire Patrick Kane if they want to, and if Patrick Kane decides that he wants to say goodbye to Chicago, rejuvenate the last few years of his career. I mean, he's only 34 years old. I mean, he could really go to a team, go on another cup run, maybe get a 4th cup, and then decide whatever he wants to do. If he wants to go back to Chicago, we've seen that happen before. A player go to a team, try for a cup and then go back home. All of a sudden, it's like the best of both worlds for that team. You get some pieces and you get your old boy
Kravtsov and Kravtsov and a first.
Lafreniere, Capel, like these are guys that could. I mean, they could decide that they want to move on from any of those players, but we'll leave it at that. I think he's he's definitely some risk in acquiring a guy like Patrick Kane, but also, maybe getting ahead of it in case you do see that trade. I think he's going to get traded. I think he's going to get flipped. And I have this feeling that he's going to get traded to the New York Rangers. And my goodness, you're going to have Kreider and Mika on the first line, and you're going to have Kane and Panarin on the second line with Igor in net. That would be very, very dangerous. So we'll see what happens. Keep an eye on things for sure. Patrick Kane and the Hawks in a tough spot tonight. Speaking of the Rangers, they're in action at home against the Washington Capitals, -152, and the Caps are checking in at +135. We did see Ovechkin. He tied Gordie Howe, and he passed him via the empty net. He kind of seemed embarrassed, almost like he didn't want to score that empty net goal. It felt like he wanted like a really nice moment of beating a goalie in that moment, but doesn't matter. They all count the same, Ovi. He's now at 4.5 shots. He was at 3.5 juice, just like we were seeing Mikko Rantanen, just like we're seeing some other guys like Jason Robertson. I don't mind the assists at +120. I do like the Rangers at home here. I do like Panarin, man. I really like Panarin's game since he was placed on the line with Mika Zibanejad. I'm taking a look at him tonight. But what else, what do you got from this game? Rangers and Caps.
Yeah, I got Zibanejad to score. Just such an awesome player, and seems to be the shooter on that power play. He's on that on the left wall, and they cycle the puck and want Zibanejad to be the shooter. So I like that. 110 and Kreider. Like I get that he's playing in the third line, but he's still playing on the first power play, and he plays a ton of minutes regardless. And this is a guy that, I mean, over 40 goals last year. He's not going to get there this year, but he's still a great player. I like him at 125. Ovi, you know the rule. If you're giving me plus odds on Ovi to score, sign me up. Plus 125. And Marcus Johansson at 350. He's playing on the third line, but he's still playing important minutes there. But what I like most is he's playing on the top power play, playing the opposite wall of Ovi. So I like that a lot too.
Nice, good call. So for Panarin, he's minus 138 for an assist. It's not fantastic. I mean, he's just playing like his best hockey this season. I looked at the back of his hockey card and I'm just like, holy crap, he's been this good. Like he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multi-point games here since December 2nd. He's got a point in every single game, but 2 since December 2nd. He's got 3 goals over his last 4. He's got at least 3 shots in 5 straight games. He's plus 100 for 3 shots tonight. He's just shooting, right? He's not a big shooter anyways. Like he has these moments where, I mean, he can if he wants. He's just in his nature. He's a pass first guy, but I think he's shooting a little bit more when he's just playing with Mika, who also, I would say he's more of a shooter than a passer, but he's also a very underrated playmaker, Mika Zibanejad. So these two guys are just really, really good together. So I'm just diving into the Panarin shot prop here at plus 100. It's probably my favorite of the first couple of games that we've started. And then there's one other guy I wanted to just bring up for people that are playing fantasy hockey. You know, Troy does as well. John Carlson took a puck to the face the other day. It sounds like he's going to miss some time. Eric Gustafsson has got points in 4 straight games. He's got 4 goals and 7 points over that span. He's shooting like a psycho, 5, 6, 3, and 1 over his last 4 games. He's averaging 22 minutes per game here over this last few. He was already on the number 1 power play, and he's just going to get even more ice time if Carlson does miss like the next couple weeks here. So he's a decent fantasy hockey asset for you. After this game, the Rangers got the Capitals have a pretty decent schedule. Ottawa, Montreal, Buffalo, and Columbus are next couple. So those are very favorable matchups with bad penalty killing teams. So Gustafsson could be a nice little fantasy hockey pickup for you in season-long formats. Boston and Ottawa in here next. The Sens are at home at plus 165. The Bruins are minus 186. I was going to jump on Boston last night at minus 170. I see 954 Reese in the house. We taking the Bruins tonight. I am taking the Bruins tonight. Absolutely. EY may go another way because it's his Sens, but Drake Batherson on the board there, as you see, and he's been absolutely amazing all year. And then David Pasternak's played like 3 games. 3 games without a point, I'm pretty sure. Maybe 4 all year without a point. He's been a freak as well. George is in the house saying, where in the world is EY? Dude is living the dream. You don't want to see what outside my window looks like because it's
Yeah, George, I'm in Mexico, and I may never come back. Except they don't have a lot of hockey down here. If I figure out how to stream hockey, I may never come back, but I haven't figured that out yet. Pretty good with that stuff, but not a wizard. If anyone's got any suggestions, send me a DM in Twitter or Instagram or something. Suggest to me how I could watch the World Junior, even NHL games, because my VPN doesn't seem to be working. Anyways, Marchand at 130 and Tyler Hall. Tyler Hall's been that line, him and Coyle, there's something going on there. They've been playing really well. He's at plus 230, so I like that. DeBrincat, it seems to be feeling it and turning into DeBrincat. Look at Ottawa is not going to be as good as I thought they were going to be. Ottawa is not as good as Ottawa fans thought they were going to be. But what I do know is DeBrincat is heating up and turning into the goal scorer that we thought he would be when he landed in Ottawa. He's at 155, and Brady Tkachuk is just kind of getting it done every night at 145. I like him to score too.
Yeah, and those are the shooters, right? It's like Drake, Brady, and DeBrincat. I noticed the same thing. Shane Pinto on that second line has looked pretty decent with DeBrincat and Drake Batherson. Bergeron's minus 140 for a point. That's pretty juiced, but if you're looking for like a point parlay, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, minus 140 is like pretty darn good, actually, considering his line mate, Marchand, is minus 200. But Jake DeBrusk is also, just the trio, the third guy of that line. He's minus 115. I like that one quite a bit. You could do the same game parlays over at Bet365. You can just take Bergeron and Marchand, and that's plus 135. I'm going to have that one in the bet tracker. And if you wanted to get a little bit greedier, you can add Jake DeBrusk there. That's plus 320. So you have the entire line to kind of help you out there. Marchand's not really shooting, but my goodness, I've never seen his shot prop so low. It's very tempting. And I know somebody, I give a shout out to the Hammer. Apparently I must have said on the show to get in on Marchand, and I didn't feel like I didn't have any bets in on Marchand. So maybe I won't toss him out there. But one thing I do like is plus 106 for an assist. But it is interesting to see Marchand even money for 3 shots. It's been some time since we've seen something like that, but he is not shooting. I'd much rather take the same game parlay for Bergeron, Marchand, maybe Jake DeBrusk, maybe a single point on Bergeron minus 140, or Marchand plus 106 for an assist. Sean McCormick in the house. Happy holidays, guys. Let's cash some tickets. Love the Leafs puck line tonight and the Rangers money line. Yeah, we just dove into the Rangers game. McAvoy for a power play point. Adam Reckamp says like it. Is he still in that first power play though? They did take him off for Hampus Lindholm, so that one is just double check that just in case, right? I know they took off McAvoy and put Lindholm back on there. John Francis, Mikko Rantanen shot prop is safer than the government treasures. Love that one. Daily Handle saying IPTV. Jason Prince in the house. Shot King parlay prop madman EY. We love it. We love you, Jason Prince. We love all you guys. And we love the support. Smash that like button. Okay. Islanders at home plus 115. Pens on the road at minus 129. I can't get a good feel of the Islanders. I never can, man. I just don't know. I feel like it really is all about Ilya Sorokin. If Sorokin keeps them in games, like if he plays good, they have a chance to win. He's been shaky over the past couple. I don't know if there's a buy low window opportunity. I still view him as a top 5 fantasy hockey goalie. But I like the Penguins here tonight. I'm not going to overthink this one. It's decent odds. I know that they're on the road. I'm going to take Pittsburgh here tonight.
Yeah, I lead Pittsburgh too. I got Gensel to score at 140 and Malkin at 205. Malkin's been on my sheets here every week. I don't know. He had just been feeling his play, and I feel like Pittsburgh is doing something I think they should have done a long time ago in their power play. Is having Malkin as the shooter. I mean, he's just got such a hard shot, such a smart player. Even though he's a huge guy, always knows the right place to be and how to be open. On the Islander side, I'm pretty sure Nelson is out. I don't know if that's still confirmed, but I'm pretty sure Nelson's out. So I got Lee at 205 and Pajot. I think Pajot could slide into that top center spot and center the top power play, and he's at 275. So that's a really nice bet, guys. Keep your eye on that.
Yeah, I'm just double checking here. I think he is out as well. So I think you're spot on. You probably see John Gabriel Pajot jump up and maybe play with Lee and Bolivier, I would say, and they keep Barzal and Wallstrom and Bailey together.
Yep.
I think that's pretty good analysis there. For shot props, I did see Jake Gensel at 2.5. He's juiced. If you want to put him, I'd include him into like the juice guys that you can put into a parlay, like maybe Mikko Rantanen, Jason Robertson. I would say he's kind of in that, but he hasn't really been shooting, but we know that he has the potential to go 3 or 4 shots in any given night. Plus, the Islanders we've talked about this a lot. The Islanders are not that same stingy Barry Trotz defensive squad, and they're among the leaders in giving up giving up shot attempts and shots on goal. So it's not an awful spot for Jake Gensel. But I probably lean Sidney Crosby, to be honest with you. We're going to get a better price for Sid the Kid. Minus 137, I'm seeing over at Caesars and FanDuel. He's had at least 3 shots in 3 of his past 4, and he's actually been shooting quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of his last 11. He has cleared 2.5 shots. So I'd probably lean Sidney Crosby over Jake Gensel. And if I were to pick a Ranger or Islander, I'm with you on Anders Lee there. Your Preds. Plus 115 at home. You're rocking the jersey. Minus 125 for the Dallas Stars. Novak got sent down, but I'm pretty sure it was just because it was, the break. And I would imagine he's going to get the call today. He was reassigned to the AHL. I think I don't have like any concrete stuff here, but you see this stuff happen all the time over the break. You send somebody down,
Yeah.
you give them the call back up. 3 games with the Preds, 3 points, a goal, 6 shots. Not throwing his body around, not blocking any shots, but 2 of his 3 points came on the power play. And his last 2 games, you've seen him firsthand. We talked about him last week. You had him for an anytime goal. You know, he's not only on that first line, but he's getting an opportunity on the first power play right now. So he's somebody to keep an eye on.
Yeah. I was saying this on Twitter, just saying I was completely floored when he didn't make the team out of camp. Really, I was actually really floored because he played a lot for them last year, and he was a player for me that stuck out, and it had nothing to do with his physical ability or his skating. Like I think he's a decent player in all of those things, but what really signed him for me was his hockey IQ. He was always in the right place, always making the smart play, always making the safe play, and that kind of a player on your team is invaluable. And knowing his stats in Milwaukee, that he could slide up, into the top 6, and that's what we're seeing here, and he's producing. So yeah, I would be floored if he doesn't get called back up and play in this game. But I mean, for me, if Nashville is going to compete, it's got to be Forsberg and Duchesne. Those are the 2 guys that I like to score. Both of them been playing well. They just, I don't know, man. There's some really bad inconsistency from Nashville. I will support this team. It's my home team. Like Clint supports the Coyotes and Troy supports the Blue Jackets. I will continue to support the Predators, but I do not expect them to win against Dallas. They could, if we get a solid, consistent game out of them, they can beat anybody. But they just super inconsistent. They played Colorado. They come out in the first period and just, I mean, they absolutely controlled the first period. And then the second period, they did not show up. Colorado comes back. It's even through the third period, and then they smash them in overtime. So it's just really, really inconsistent. Something's got to give there. But it's for me, it's Forsberg and Duchesne and Robertson, and Mason Marchment has been playing some really good hockey. He's at plus 270 for Dallas. I like him and Jamie Benn have got something going there, and he's been pretty good since coming over from Florida.
Yeah, he really has. I see the comment there from Adam. He says he's betting the under Jason Robertson. Good luck, dude. Good luck, man. That's a scary thing. The under Jason Robertson. He had 5 shots in his first shift the other night. But I totally understand where he's going with it. The splits. We've talked a lot about the splits actually with Dallas's top line since last season. And just to give you a little bit of a taste here of Jason Robertson, I mean, he's been phenomenal on the road, but at home in 17 games, he's got 84 shots. He averages 19.33. It's 2 more minutes per game at home than he does on the road. He's got 15 goals in 17 games, 29 points there. And on the road, he's got 9 goals and 21 points in 18 games. So he's still over a point per game guy on the road, but his shots are down 63. But, for me, I am going to take him over at Bet Rivers at minus 125. Like, that's a price I can get behind for 4 shots. But I think the guy to play is Roope Hintz. Roope Hintz has been just as good, really, over the past couple of weeks as Jason Robertson, and he's at minus 106 for 3 shots. It's the same. It's the whole line. You can look at the split since the start of last season. Uptick in ice time, better matchups. They get leaned on a little bit more on home ice. But your Preds, man, they give up a lot of rubber. They've given up a ton of rubber so far this season. I know UC Star has been a lot better at home. His splits are crazy as well. But I will lean with Pavelski assists because I do it all the time when I get plus money for an assist on Pavelski, playing with those 2 guys. And I lean Hintz over Jason Robertson. Adam says Hintz is his target as well. Nashville allowing a lot to centers. Yeah, not super deep down the middle of the ice, right? Some inexperienced guys playing at the center position for the Preds this season. We both like Dallas. The Maple Leafs minus 162 and plus 150 for the St. Louis Blues here on home ice. These odds changed a little bit, I think, in favor of the Leafs. Yeah, you're seeing minus 162 there. So it's actually still the same. Bet Rivers, best odds I'm seeing. McCormick was in the house, said he's taking the Leafs on the puck line. I don't hate it. I may pay a little juice to get them into like a 2 or 3 leg parlay, maybe add the Pens in there. But I do like the Leafs tonight. Jordan Bennington and net, I do believe. Yeah, Krug's on long-term IR. I wrote him up last night as a sell high. I saw that he was hitting the score sheet. I'm like, oh, Krug. sell high because unfortunately, and I don't want to take shots at anybody, but there's just certain players in the NHL that just can't seem to stay healthy. And he's one of those guys that just seems to land on IR or every little bit. Anyways, unfortunate for him, unfortunate for Krug owners. I don't know if there's any slowing down William Nylander, EY. Like this guy's he's a shooting machine, and I think he scores again tonight.
Nylander.
Yeah, I knew you'd have it.
First one I wrote down. He's gonna. I mean, I think he's gonna smash most of his scoring totals this year. This is what goes on when you play with Matthews, I guess. You know, like everyone's got to pay attention to where Austin Matthews is on the ice, and the benefits are the people that are on the ice playing with him. And Nylander is a great player to begin with, but I think switching Matthews and Nylander seem to have a real chemistry there. He's at 150. I like him, and I got Tavares to score too. I think he's due, and the captain, you know, coming out of a Christmas break and you know, the reset and stuff, I think he scores. And I got Jordan Kyrou, who has come on in the last couple of weeks and turned back into Jordan Kyrou. Man, he was dead to me, you know, like he was, I mean, almost non-existent for the first few weeks of the season. But he's starting to come on, and then this, you know, same old Tarasenko. He's the shooter, he's the goal scorer, he's the trigger man on the power play, and he's at plus 190 on DraftKings. So those are the two guys in the Blues.
Seeing Nylander at plus 132 over at FanDuel, that's a pretty good price. He's actually plus 174 for a 2-point night. I almost took that the other night, and I wish I did. I was against the Flyers, I think, for him to have a 2-point night. I'm intrigued at plus 174. Like Matthews and Marner, you're not getting those type of odds for 2 points. If Matthews gets 2 points, you're most likely going to see it from Nylander. Keep an eye on Kyrou. He's missed the past couple of games, so just keep an eye on him if he does return to the lineup tonight. So we'll see what happens there. But I love the Tarasenko call. He's starting to pick it up just a little bit. He's got 6 points in his last 2 games, 2 3-point games in his last 3 as well, 9 shots in his last 2 games. I know the Leafs don't give up a whole lot, but if there's a guy, like those are the shooters. I don't mess around with anybody else. Like O'Reilly doesn't shoot, Braden Shen doesn't shoot, Thomas doesn't shoot. Even Pavel Buchnevich doesn't really shoot, but Tarasenko at minus 118, even against the Leafs, it just takes a power play to kind of flirt with that number, you know, especially if there's no Kyrou. And I would agree. Yeah, I would say that, you know, Adam's checking in here on the Justin Falk comment. If you want to chuck that up, Tyler. Really thinks Falk is the real benefactor of the Krug injury. Takes over first PP. He's not afraid to shoot. Yeah, he's a really nice fantasy asset. He touches a lot of categories. I'd say he benefits. And I also think Colton Parayko is a guy that benefits significantly, you know, from a season-long standpoint, more so than let's bet his shot props or point props. But I would say Justin Falk is a pretty good target. Yeah, plus 120 I'm seeing over at Bet Rivers. He's plus 190 for an Apple. He's plus 480 for a power play point. And I really like this one. EY, I don't know if I've given a block shot prop before on Dango Bet. A block shot prop, ladies and gentlemen. Minus 119 for 2 blocks tonight. Justin Falk. I'm doing that one. I mean, at least they're going to put 40 plus shots on net. They're going to put probably like 75 attempts towards Binnington tonight.
That's a dig deep bet, but you're only gonna find analysis like that here with us and the rest of the fantasy psychos here.
And Adam's all over it. He's all over Falk. Let's just get involved. Big Falk night, right? You take the shots, you get a power play point. Let's get a block shot in there. Yeah, he is going to play like 23 minutes tonight. There's no question about that. He could even maybe flirt with a little bit more ice time than that. All right, Minnesota and Winnipeg in here. The Jets are at home, plus 102, and then Minnesota checking in at minus 112. Matt Boldy on the left, and Josh Morrissey. When I was doing my fantasy hockey rest of the season rankings, I have Morrissey as a borderline top 5 defenseman. Eli, I know you've realized how good he has been, but he has been a top 5 fantasy hockey defenseman in leagues with hits and blocks and power play points. He's been absolutely phenomenal this season for the Winnipeg Jets. So I just wanted to give him some love. These are the top 5 fantasy hockey defensemen currently. Rasmus Dahlin, Erik Karlsson, Roman Josi, Josh Morrissey, and Cale Makar. Josh Morrissey has 39 points, 6 goals, 14 power play points on the season. which is second. Actually, sorry, it's fifth in the NHL among defensemen in the power play points. But the 39 points is second behind Erik Karlsson, right? It's just
That's
like
wild.
I knew he was having a good season, but I was like, wow, he's got the second most points among defensemen. It's pretty solid, man.
Yeah, I've been, following along with it. I have him on a couple of my teams, and the reason why is because he was going to play power play minutes for Winnipeg, and it was because I was like, oh, he's going to play with PLD, he's going to play with Connor. The reality is the Winnipeg Jets are a good team. I mean, first and foremost, we've talked about this, and because of Connor Hellebuck has turned back into Connor Hellebuck, but the Winnipeg Jets are going as Morrissey goes. He's been their best and most consistent player. The secret's out. I mean, he's probably not available anywhere, but he's been unreal, and I don't think people are talking about it enough, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Two shot props I like from this game: Matt Boldy and Joel Eriksson Ek on the Minnesota side of things. They're both juiced. They're both at like minus 147. I think Boldy's at minus 146 at FanDuel. Maybe get a bit of a better price here in a bit. I also like his point at minus 138. It's kind of like in the whole Bergeron camp. It's a little bit juiced for a single, but maybe you put it into a parlay. He's been shooting a little bit. We've talked a lot about him over the past couple of episodes. He good start, hot start, and then really slow, definitely very, very slow stretch. And it just seems like he's turned the corner just a little bit lately. He's got only got 3 goals here over the past 2.5 weeks, but he does have points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his past 7 games. And he's had at least 3 shots in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of his past 9 games, 9 in his last 2. So I like him. And I like the call from Adam Rankamp. Says Joel Eriksson Ek is his biggest bet of the night. Somebody checking on him a little bit later on to see how he is doing. Did you give a couple mini and what do you got over there?
I've got Connor. He's plus odds. So I'm Connor and PLD at 180. And I got Kaprizov plus 125 and Zuccarello at 215.
Plus 125 for Kaprizov is pretty good. Pretty solid. Yeah. Hellebuck's been awesome, but I kind of lean maybe Winnipeg at home. Get plus money here for the Jets. Better goaltending.
Yeah. Fleury's been pretty good, man.
He has been good.
He's been pretty good.
I think he was awesome the other night. He made a couple nice highlight reel saves.
Yep.
Next one here, we have Arizona and Colorado. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this. We did say off the top of the show, Mikko Rantanen has been just an absolute psycho. He's got 41 shots on goal in his last 5. He's had at least 8 shots. 13, 11, 8, 2, 8. He's had at least 8 shots, I think, in 4 of his past 5 or 6 games. He is pretty juiced to have 4 shots tonight, though. Minus 143. If he moves to 4.5 plus money, guys, I would get involved with Mikko Rantanen. I don't know. There's really nothing you can do with Mikko Rantanen. Kale McCarr is the other guy who has been shooting pretty good. He is minus 104, so it's a little bit of an easier pill to swallow if you wanted to take the over 3.5 for Kale McCarr. His last 2 games, 5, 4, 4, 7, and 4. So he's cleared in 5 straight. He's actually cleared in 7 of his past 8 games. 30 minutes the other night he played against your Preds. I thought that was a lot. He played 31-48 against the Islanders. He is playing
crazy
half of the hockey games.
Yep.
That he's suiting up for. So I have to take him for over 3.5 shots. What you got over there?
Yeah, I got Rantanen. It's negative 120, which isn't crazy because, rewind the tape and show our love session for Mikko Rantanen. He's been everything for Colorado. And Nichushkin, my guy. Love this guy forever, and really glad that the world is starting to come around and he's starting to put up numbers again. He's skating again, and that's what I really like to see at 130. Keller is my guy over there. He's almost a point per game for the Coyotes. Really good player. Just has played in Arizona for his whole career, so it makes him kind of invisible to an average fan. Clayton Keller at 185 and Lawson Krause at 310.
Oh yeah, I like the Keller call. I mean, he's actually shooting quite a bit too. I was thinking about him tonight because a lot of these shot props are juice, but you can get Keller at plus 112. I think this is okay, guys. I know it's the Avs. They don't give up a whole lot, but it isn't the same Avs team that we're used to seeing. Clayton Keller 4-5-1, 5-4, 4-3-2, and he's playing a lot too. He played 27 minutes the other night against the Kings. He's been living in the 22, 23 minute mark, which is a lot of ice time for a forward, and he's been at
a winger.
2 shots. Yeah.
Right?
1, 2,
It's
3,
wild.
4, 5, 6, 7. Been at least 2 shots in 7 of 8, and he's cleared it in 6. So he's an interesting guy as well. Diehard MMA podcast in the house with his Coyotes. Yeah, Matthias. It's Macelia. I think it's Macelia or
Yeah, he's
Macelia.
been a passing machine, just an assist machine.
When they played the Habs the other day, he definitely was one of the better players in the ice. Very electric, speedy. It seemed like the puck was on a stick all night long, but he is hurt, right? He's going to miss a little bit of time, unfortunately, for you. I think the Avs on the puck line it's the way that would go. We'll probably wrap up with this last one. We'll see where we're at. We do only have 3 more games left. We do have 3 Canadian teams in action. Let's start here with the Battle of Alberta and Calgary. Scotiabank Saddle Dome. The Flames are checking in at -140. The Oilers at +123. I'm going to take Edmonton here in this spot. Just, a daily handle is looking for a dog. This is one that I do like. Tyler Toffoli on the right and Zach Hyman on the left. Hyman continues to have an absolutely phenomenal season. Talking about, the point parlays and same game point parlays. I'll recap a couple of my favorites towards the end of the show, but this is one that I always get behind. It's Zach Hyman for a point, Connor McDavid for 2, Leon Draisaitl for 2, and that pays +280. On the other side, I think we'll see some offense. Like we have a goal total of 6.5, 7 in some spots. I wanted to just do the same sort of deal, but with the Flames, and go to that top line is something that I've continued to do here over the past little bit. Dylan Dubé point, Lindholm point, Tyler Toffoli point. That plays +260. What you got from this game? I think this would be a fun one.
Yeah, I got McDavid and Draisaitl to score. I mean, you could say Hyman as well. He's been in there, but those are the 2 guys most likely. Toffoli at 125 and Kadri at 155.
Kadri, nice. Man, Lucic still, playing on that second line too. So if you're doing some DFS like Dylan Dubé, Lucic, pretty cheap. There's not a lot of Oilers I can get behind as cheap. It's really tough to get to the Oilers when it comes to DraftKings, that's for sure. Can't bet the Oilers means come on, you know that. Why? This is new to me. I don't know. Like, is there something I'm missing? We can't bet on the Edmonton Oilers. You can't bet on the Oilers to win the Cup. You can certainly bet the Oilers to win a regular season game or take the over 6.5. Adam says over 6.5, but I really love the first period over when they play. It's such a fast start. It's a different vibe this year when the 2 teams meet. But last year there was a game where there was a combined 16, 17 goals scored. There was a lot of offense, but this one should be a fun one. I would say Zach Hyman finds the back of the net. I am in on Tyler Toffoli's shots. I know he's been quiet over the last 2, but he is the guy that I like the most as a shooter. Dylan Dubé point. I still want to get behind that and ride that out. Zach Hyman assist. These are things I want to continue to ride because they've been pretty good to us. I like the over and I like Edmonton to win the game. Let's say goodbye to Game Plus Network and just maybe give them 3 goal scorers. 3 of your top, and then you have to come over to get the rest, guys, because he's got like 35.
Oh, gee. Gensel, Nylander, and Robertson.
Nice. Love it. Gensel, Nylander, Robertson, at the Eric Young, at Chris Meaney, ftnbets.com/free, ftndaily.com/free, and check out our FTN Network YouTube page. Hop on over to see the rest of the show. This show is also available on iTunes and Spotify. We just have 2 more games, and we will wrap up with some of our favorite play callers. This guy's living the dream. I just got cold coffee. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. All right. Peace, Game Plus Network. Enjoy the hockey. We'll see you on Thursday. Okay. Next game. This one actually could be a fun one, too. A lot of offense, I think, in it. Vancouver and San Jose, -130 for the Canucks at home, +125 for the Sharks. They're going to get Thomas Hertl back into the lineup. And Timo Meier just, again, doing fantasy hockey rankings and taking a look at where he is. I mean, this guy's he's a top 5 winger. Left, right, whatever you want. He's shooting. He's not scoring as much as he did the year before, but the shots are always there for him. I like Hertl, man. Before the suspension, I was going to Hertl quite often, for shots and for points and taking a shot on his goal prop. Before the suspension, this guy had I mean, one, two, three, four, 5 multi-point games since November 29th. He had 6 goals over that span. He cleared 2.5 shots in 3 straight games, and 4, 5, 6 of 7. He's plus 128. He shouldn't be plus 128 for 3 shots. Like, this is a gift, guys. Everybody else is juiced. Hurdle for 3 shots plus 128. He's minus 106 for an assist, but I like him to score tonight in his return. You can get him at plus 250 over at FanDuel to have him. What you got?
Elias Pettersson is maybe playing the best hockey of his career. Dude, he's turned into just a player that you like. Vancouver is a mess, but he's a superstar. He's going to be a superstar. They leaked. Vancouver is open for business, and the only person that is not available is Elias Pettersson. That's their words, not mine. Horvat, again, having a class season, right? And it comes as no secret to us. We talked about this early in the year. It's a contract year for Bora Horvat, whether he wants to stay there or he wants to go somewhere else. He's going to probably end up somewhere else, but he's going to get paid. And the stats he's putting up this year are going to dictate that. He's at plus 140. Timo Meier, our guy that we bet on all the time, love him at 125. And I'm still sticking with Barabanov at plus 320. Still playing on the top right wing, and still it's still showing. Now Hurdle may bump him off the top power play, but it's still showing that he's playing the left side, the trigger side of the power play.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll still.
I think he stays, and I think Bonino gets bumped, and it's Logan Couture, Hurdle, Barabanov, Meyer, and Carlson is the top power play.
I would agree. I wrote up Barabanov in the fantasy hockey article as like a streaming option. And,
I'm going to get a Barabanov San Jose jersey. I don't have a San Jose jersey.
He's got nice flow. He's actually got a little bit of touch around the net too. I mean, if he's not playing with Hurdle and Meyer, he's playing with Couture, and I think he is gonna stick on that number 1 power play. So he's interesting. I just don't believe in this Canucks team at all. I know they went into Edmonton and they won, but again, that's probably why Daily Handle said can't bet the Oilers, because the Oilers you have to take with a grain of salt as well. But what I will say is that I think I'm in on the over in this game. I think we're going to see some offense. The Sharks played to some overs anyways, and I think that top line is like Carlson's still having a phenomenal season, leads all defensemen. I'd say if the season ended today, he would get my vote for Norris, and we'd be happy as Norris supporters on this show. But Hurdle and Meyer are good for a couple, and Elias Pettersson and Horvat are good for a couple as well. So I think we could see a 2-2 game into the third. Maybe we get a couple goals into the third, and away we go. But man, I don't know if it's going to be Spencer Martin and net, but this guy is brutes. This guy is bad, man.
Think about it. He's the better option.
Oh my goodness. Like his games, like look, let me just read off a couple of his games for you here. Actually, they're all the same. 4 goals, 1, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 1, 4. Oh, nice little stretch. 2 goals. One of those games, Arizona. 4. These are the last few games from him. 4 goals allowed. 5 goals allowed. 3, and then 3 in a row with 5 goals allowed. Seattle, St. Louis, and Winnipeg his last couple. He's allowed at least 4 goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 starts. He's allowed at least 3 goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of his 17 games. This guy's allowed at least 3 goals. So I don't know if they keep going back to him. Maybe they go to Delia, Colin in there. He played the other night for Vancouver. It doesn't matter. These guys they play too loose defensively. They don't have the personnel, and they don't have the goaltending without Thatcher Demko. I know everyone was on Demko at the start of the season. He's a really good goalie, and he was struggling. With the lack of personnel on the blue line, is giving up odd man rushes. So I like the over. I'm going to recap here. I like Hurdle for 3 shots. I like Hurdle to score. I also like Timo Meier to score. And I'm with you on the 2 Canucks. Like those are the guys, Bo Horvat or Elias Pettersson. Maybe if you want to get sneaky, like a Brock Besser or Connor Garland in there, for some longer odds, because I do believe we'll see some offense in that game. I'm probably going to lean with the Sharks plus 125 too. The last game is Battle of Cali. Man, Vegas hasn't been in the league for long, but the Golden Knights and the Kings, this is a
must watch.
Man.
Yeah, it's must
It
watch.
is must watch. It's good. Vegas is going through something kind of reminds me a little bit of last year. All of a sudden, like there's some guys that are just hurt on this team. I know Jack Eichel is pretty close to returning. He could potentially suit up tonight. Theodore is out. Jonathan Marchessault has an out next to his name. Excuse me. He's considered day to day. Mark Stone has been shooting like a madman, 5, 8,
Yep.
and 5 over his last 3 games. He's got 3 goals and 5 points over that span. Our guy, Chandler Stevenson, is turning out to be an absolute league winner in fantasy hockey formats. This guy's got points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games, Eric. And he's got 2 games where he's had at least 4 points over this run. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 points over a 7-game streak. Those are the 2 guys I really like. And I really like Riley Smith's shots. On the other side for the Kings, Fiala and Kempe have been shooting a little bit more so Fiala than Kempe.
Fiala, big
but
time.
those are the 2 guys I like as well. What you got in your sheet?
Yeah, I got Fiala because he's been shooting like crazy. And this is a guy that there was, rumors of him. The reality is this, he's a bit of an egomaniac, and he's a very cocky player. I think you have to be sure and almost borderline cocky to play in the NHL. You have to believe that you are the man. But when he believes it, he plays like it, and he believes it right now. He is awesome. He is so good when he is feeling it and has the puck on his stick. Things happen, and it doesn't matter what team he's playing for, whether it's Preds or Minnesota, and now LA. He's a really fun player to watch. I like him. I like Arvidsson. He's been shooting again a lot, playing power play time plus 205. And on the Vegas side, I got Stone. He's kind of been everything for him. And like you said, Stevenson. And I wanted to say honorable mention to Riley Smith. He's been playing really good hockey the last couple of weeks, shooting the puck like crazy, scored some good goals, and has really stepped up when they're pretty banged up.
Riley Smith is the 51st ranked player in fantasy hockey. No, I don't know if a lot of people would realize that. His ownership is 63%. He wasn't drafted. He's not even really getting any traction. He's not getting, picked up, but he's got 92 shots. 92 shots is quite a bit of rubber, right? I mean, Eichel's missed a little bit of time. Yeah. He's got 100, but Riley Smith is plus money again for 2.5 shots. Chandler Stevenson and Mark Stone are both at 1.5 shots over at Bet Rivers. Now they're pretty juiced. Even Riley Smith's at 1.5, which is crazy to me. I like Riley Smith over 2.5 at FanDuel plus 108. If you wanted to put Mark Stone in your parlay, minus 165 for 2 shots, or you can, he's juiced everywhere you look, actually, but 2.5 at minus 148 or 1.5 at minus 148. Pick your choice. Pick your poison. I think I'll go with the 1.5 to put him into a parlay. And then Chandler Stevenson is also 1.5 at minus 137 over at FanDuel. I don't know if I really like that one as much. I like Riley Smith and Stone. And on the other side, Fiala and Kempe in there as well. I think I want to wait to call this game. Vegas at plus 104 on the road is kind of interesting to me. But if they're going to be without Jonathan Marchessault and still Eichel and no Theodore, I'll probably lean with the Kings at home. Take LA because you can get LA at minus 110. It's not a bad price for the Kings at home. Okay, let's recap. I'll let you go first.
All right. Marchand, Hall, DeBrincat, Kachuk, Necas, Stahl, Kane, Athanasiou, Zibanejad, Kreider, Ovi, Marcus Johansson, Gensel, Malkin, Lee, Pajot, Nylander, Tavares, Kyrou if he plays, Tarasenko, Forsberg, Duchesne, Robertson, Marchment, Connor, PLD, Kaprizov, Zuccarello, Nichushkin, Rantanen, Keller, Krause, McDavid, Draisaitl, Toffoli, Kadri, Patterson, Hurdle, Meyer, Barabanov, Fiala, Arvidsson, Stevenson, Stone. My 8-way maniac parlay goes as this: Gensel, Matthews, Robertson, Connor, Kaprizov, Rantanen, McDavid, Patterson.
I like it. I dig it. I know it's 8,
but
we've talked about before on the show. you've been at 6 and 7 a couple times, so maybe that's a combo, guys.
Yeah, and I'm not saying a bunch of money. Like I literally bet $1, or if I'm feeling real confident, $2, and all of a sudden you've got $2,000 in your pocket because nobody bets 8 people to score.
Absolutely love it. I don't know if I could add too many more goal scorers to that one, but I am feeling like Sebastian Aho finds the back of the net and Andrei Svechnikov in that first game. I like Artemi Panarin and Alex Ovechkin. He's feeling it. Let's ride this out with Ovi. I like David Pastrnak and Jake DeBrusk. On the other side, I'm not going to pick any sense. If I were to pick one, it would be DeBrincat. I like Sidney Crosby tonight, and I like Anders Lee. I like Rupe Hintz and Jason Robertson for the Preds. Philip Forsberg. For your Leafs, William Nylander. That's the one guy that I'm definitely all in on tonight. William Nylander, 2 points. William Nylander, a goal. William Nylander, 4 shots.
Oh, man.
Blues. On the Minnesota Wild, I like Matt Boldy. And on the Winnipeg Jets, I like our guy, Kyle Connor. Mikko Rantanen and Arturi Lehkonen for the Colorado Avalanche. For the Edmonton Oilers, Zach Hyman and Dylan Dubé for the Calgary Flames. I like Thomas Hertl and Timo Meier for the Sharks, Elias Pettersson and Bo Horvat for the Canucks. For the Golden Knights, I like Riley Smith and Mark Stone. For the Kings, I like Adrian Kempe and Kevin Fiala. For sides, I don't have a lot written down here. Carolina, could we put Carolina in a? No, we can't. Let's just forget about it. Just scratch off Carolina. You can't get involved with Carolina. Even puck line stuff for Carolina. I think that they probably win 4-1, 5-1, something like that. If you wanted to get crazy, I like the Rangers on home ice, the Bruins on the road, the Penguins on the road, the Stars on the road. I like the Blues. I like the Jets as home dogs tonight. I like the Avs puck line. I like the Oilers as dogs. And I like the San Jose Sharks as dogs. And I have a slight lean to the Kings right now. For totals, I wanted to go through some totals. Over 6.5 at -120 between San Jose and Vancouver. I look over 6.5 between the Oilers and the Flames. I think Adam Reitkamp gave a nice pick. Both teams to score in the first period is +125 between the Oilers and the Flames. I think that's a pretty solid bet there for sure. I kind of lean to the under between the Leafs and the Blues, man. They're getting such good goaltending that I think it could be like a 4-1 type game. Maybe we sweat that one out just a little bit. And then that's really it for totals. For shot props, let's see. What do we got on the sheet?
Get the sheet.
I got Panarin, Pastrnak, Rupe Hintz, Jason Robertson, Nylander, Tarasenko, Joel Eriksson Ek, Matt Boldy, Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar, Thomas Hertl, Bo Horvat, Tyler Toffoli, Elias Pettersson, Mark Stone, Riley Smith. Assists, Marchand, Pavelski, Hyman, Ovechkin, all plus money, I do believe. And for points, Bergeron, Jake DeBrusk, Boldy, Dubé. And then these same game parlays, they're not for everybody, but man, I'll tell you what, they are really, man, they're putting money in a lot of people's pockets. I can't believe that you can still do this kind of stuff over at 365. Bergeron, Marchand, plus money for a point. Aho, Teravainen, plus 120 for a point. Svechnikov and Natchez, plus money for a point. They just correlate. Just take line mates. Just don't have to get greedy. Just take 2 of them. Forget the guys that are at 1.5. Just take the guys that are at 1 point. Edmonton's guys are at 1.5, but I don't mind that one at plus 250 for Edmonton's top line. Calgary, plus 260 for their top line. And then you have you could do the San Jose boys, Hertl and Meier at plus 100 for a point as well. And then also Justin Falk, plus 1.5 over on block shots. Lamar Williams, where can we find your prop shop sheets? FTNbets.com, dude. FTNbets.com. I mean, you can screen grab this if you want. EY's got his sheet there if you want to screen grab.
I'm not zooming in. They'll make fun of my handwriting. I'm doing
Good luck of writing it or reading it. This is a free show. We want to continue to do free shows. We want to give winners for you guys. We're twice a week, but also we do run a business over at FTNbets.com as well. Promo code Meaney. Save yourself a little bit of cash. You can sign up for free for 3 days, see what it's all about. We keep track of all of our picks. We have a pick tracker. We have a Discord channel where there's an amazing conversation going. We have a free prize picks pick tracker at FTNdaily.com. We also give shot props over there. Promo code FTN. They'll match your first deposit 100%, and they'll give you up to $100 at prize picks. We have a link inside the description of this video. But we have free trials if you want to check out our websites just to see what it's all about. You can sign up for a month. You can sign up for the rest of the season. What I will say is the FTN betting package is certainly worth your time because you do get all picks across all sports. We got guys killing it in the NBA, college, NHL, NFL, baseball's here before you know it. It just does not stop. Basketball, it's all there over at ftnbets.com. So that's how you get all the props and all the picks after the show. And I will give a shout out to the betting article. I read a betting article for free Tuesdays and Thursdays at ftnbets.com. And I think we've won like 20 units over the last 2 articles. I give 3 official plays, but you know me, I got to give more. So I give some bonus plays in there, and the bonus plays have been hit as well. Why haven't saves been posted? I'm not sure. We don't give a lot of save props, if that's what you mean. Saves, goalie saves. I don't like it because there's so much risk. What if a goalie gets pulled? Like I pick a goalie on a bad team that I think's going to face a lot of shots. What if he gets yanked? I just don't like to do goalie saves. I don't know how you feel about goalie saves, but
it's pretty unpredictable. Pretty unpredictable.
Very unpredictable. It's really tough.
I mean, look, it's hockey. Everything's unpredictable. I just gave an 8-way parlay on goal scores. It's insane.
Lamar, if you have any questions, at Chris Meaney on Twitter or meanstreetsftn@gmail.com, we can get you hooked up if you're looking for whatever you're looking for. Just let me know, and we can try to hook you up there. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Good luck tonight on the ice. FTNbets.com for all the latest. FTNfantasy.com for that hockey article, and we'll be back on Thursday. EY, enjoy yourself, dude, man.
I will, man. I'll be coming from a different location. I'm going to find an even more insane and hilarious location for the Thursday show. Stay tuned.
I can't wait, buddy. I can't wait. All right. Cheers, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, guys.